Hey there, Wendy here with Jazzydoodledesigns, and if you saw my color along on the Mein Reich durch Asian, this hawk picture, this color along, what I'm going to do is teach you how I did the metal elements in it. So we're going to talk about what makes something look like metal, because oftentimes when I color and I'm coloring something metal, it looks weird. And then if I walk away from it and I come back to it, then I go, oh, that looks like metal. Or the same with if I see somebody else's color along or picture, I'll say, oh, that looks really good. But when I really zoom in on it, I'm like, oh, that looks kind of weird. So talking about these little bands right here, I think the key when I'm doing little like metal bands like this is you want to create stripes of contrasting colors. The more contrasting your colors, meaning black right next to white, that's what makes the metal look shiny. If I just take and color these bands with just even 3 colors of gray, they might look like metal, but they're not going to look like shiny metal. And the same as if I'm coloring something in gold and I want it to look more aged, then I want to be using less contrasting colors. So using those colors that read gold, like your browns, your oranges, your yellows, you can blend all those out and it'll look kind of more like a burnished gold or like a gold cloth. But if you really want it to look shiny, you've really got to have the high contrast and value, meaning black, white, in addition to your other colors. And you want them side by side, so the black right next to the white or right next to the bright yellow. The brighter yellow you use, the newer your gold is going to look. So if I want, let's say I was coloring this bell and I wanted it to be in gold, if I used bright yellow and say like a yellow ochre and then a, what is it called, burnt umber, something like that, you're going to get a much different gold than if you don't use that bright yellow. And I'll try and show that to you. So let's start with the bands here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a silver one here. And I've picked out white, 10% gray, 30% gray, 70% gray, and black. Okay, so first up I'm going to go in with black, and I'm going to put this along the edges of the band. Because the band wraps around, we want that darker color on the sides to depict that it's more rounded. And then I go in with the 70% cool gray. And then next up is 10% cool gray. Just doing little bands of color. And then back in with my black. And then I go in with white. Now if you notice on the one to the left, I have 2 highlights of white, and I think that was kind of a mistake. So here I'm using Posca to put in the white, and notice how that really makes it look shiny now. So I'm going back in and coloring in basically everything that I did before. Kind of smoothing it, blending it. But you can tell that that white really makes it look shiny. Okay, next up we're going to color this bell. We're going to go ahead and continue with the silver. So first up, I'm going to go in with my deepest color, and I go along just this little, where the shadow would be. So right here I'm going to create like a little divot, and one over here on this side, and then all along that edge where there's a lip from that little band on the bell. Next I go in with my 70% gray and just butt right up next to my darker color, just kind of blending that in a little bit. And I go along that inside edge of the bell with this color. Next up is the 30% gray, just kind of putting it right along the side. This is the overall color of the bell, so to speak. So anywhere that I'm not really going to put a highlight. Next I go in and I put in my general highlights where I would put my white. And now I'm blending it all out with a 10% gray. This ensures that the bell overall is kind of a silver gray color. Next I'm going to go in with the Posca, and once again just really watch how this white just changes the whole look. Now honestly, I'm not certain about that highlight on the left side there where I'm coloring right now. I'm not really sure that's exactly where it should be, but I guess it'll have to do. Now for this little piece up here, I'm kind of coloring in a dark spot to indicate that that metal isn't flat. It kind of has a little divot there. And I'm going to leave that very tippy top white. And I go in with the darker on the edge. And there you have it. Now what about something like this? So I just kind of go in, and quite honestly I just randomly add, I shouldn't say randomly, but I am keeping like a darker area here, here, kind of along the edge a little. And then I want this to be a little set back, or I want this piece to be set back from here. So I'm going to add a little bit of a shadow here. Nothing crazy, just a little line and a little darkness there. Just adding little bits of darkness. And then blending it out with our lighter I just want to make sure that I have some variance in my grays. And then once again, I just go in and I add these little pops of white. And that's how I color flat silver. Okay, the final thing I'm going to color is this washer. And I go in with whatever your main color is. In my case, that would be the 30% cool gray. Then I'm going to bring in the 10% cool gray and just kind of blend it out. Now, washers and rings like this generally aren't really super shiny, but I go in where the artist has left me some lines, and using the 70% gray, I just add a few lines of my own as well. So I add those darker lines kind of on the inside, then I go in and kind of blend it in just a little bit, just so that they're not quite as sharp. Then I'm coming in with my white, and I'm going to go along the edge this time, and then right on the inside edge. So I want the outside on the right hand side and the inside on the left hand side. And then I'm going to put a dark ridge on the far left hand side with my black, and then blend that out with my 70%. And I just kind of deepen that shadow on the inside of the right there. Now I come back in with my Posca, and I'm going to add those pops of highlight on the outside edge and then the inner side on the left. And just a little tiny highlight there on the left hand side. And then I notice that right here where it disappears under that other piece, that should be darker. So I just kind of go back in with my black and then kind of blend it out to where that piece is in shadow. And that's it. So I hope you found this silver metal tutorial helpful. I realize it's not realistic metal, but I'm coloring in a color book, so this is what works for me. Thanks so much, and we'll see you on the next one.